Inside the Deck is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, sellers of Magic the Gathering and many other card and board games. GatheringMagic.com, your #1 resource on Magic the Gathering, strategy, and culture.
My name is Cliff Weixler, and I am playing Naya Pod. Naya Pod is an aggro deck that uses creatures that produce more than one creature to gain card advantage. This is closer to Brian Kibler's version of it. It isn't a Birthing Pod deck necessarily, it's an aggro deck that happens to play a Birthing Pod. A Birthing Pod deck simply is, it uses a powerful curve of creatures, usually with creatures that generate value beyond just being a creature. The thing with the Naya Pod deck is that there is no ideal game because you have so many options. It depends on what deck you're playing against what your ideal game is. Your ideal thing is to always set up a turn where you can either outright kill them with like a Hellrider or something else with haste, or you slowly grind them out by just rebuying all your value creatures. But what's good is that you're a base green deck that has cards that you don't even have to necessarily cast because of Birthing Pod. Birthing Pod makes it so your mana base can't be bad because you don't ever have to really cast most of the creatures. You play a lot of mana dork, so you accelerate and mana fix as you go forward. The reason it does so well is that because your creatures are all value, they have to use a lot of cards to deal with what you have. When you have cards that constantly give you 2 cards worth of value for 1 card, your cards are just always better than theirs. So as the game goes on, every spell you play is like 2 spells worth of their cards. So slowly over time, no matter how many cards they have, they run out, you don't. My best matchups are Delver by far, Huntmaster of the Fells, Blade Splicer, any of those cards that, even if they have the ability to get rid of the token, the fact that you're going to be able to use them multiple times, they're not going to be able to beat that kind of card advantage. Delver runs out of cards very fast, even though it goes through and sees a lot of its deck. It wants to kill you as fast as possible, and the deck plays defensively enough that it doesn't matter. The toughest matchup would be a deck like Frights that reanimates Elishnorn very quickly. You only play 1 clone in the main deck, so game 1 it's very difficult to get around. I'm playing Restoration Angel as a key card in the deck because it lets you do that rebuy part where you get to use Blade Splicer and Huntmaster to gain extra value out of your cards like you would with Birthing Pod. Cloudshift for the same reason. You play multiple steal effects and clone effects, so you use like Zealous Conscripts for good value. You also play a number of soulbound cards like Lightning Mauler and Silverblade Paladin and Wolfir Silverheart, because with Birthing Pod you can reset continuously what you're bound to. You're playing all creatures, you don't have a lot of ways to interact with the board other than constantly getting better creatures. So you need to play a lot of spells that deal with permanents you can't deal with otherwise. So you're going to play cards like Ancient Grudge and Rare of Revelation and Naturalize to deal with the permanents you don't have a good answer to. You play some spell removal like Pillar of Flame and Incinerate, and you play cards like Hero of Bladehold and more Wolfir Silverhearts to beat Wolfrun. I'll give you a situation that happened to me 2 rounds ago. My opponent terminuses my double Strangleroot Geist and a Huntmaster. I untap, play a Lightning Mauler, and then a Hero of Bladehold and immediately kill him. You don't get to do that in other decks when you have so many different cards. You can do almost anything with this deck.
Grasp of Darkness is 2 black mana for an instant to give target creature -4/-4 until end of turn.